Good morning, Anshul.
Good morning, Rashmi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. What about you?
Good, good. I'm good too. How's the weather in Bangalore?
Oh, it's very pleasant.
It's pleasant.
It had gotten cold a couple of days ago,
Uh-huh.
but now it's again nice, warm. Not very hot, but yeah, it's a very nice weather. It's around 25 degrees Celsius.
Nice. So it's nice and pleasant. So it's pleasant to be working from home and stuff.
Yeah. Uh, it's like sometimes I take calls standing out in my balcony. It's always very pleasant
Oh,
to uh,
lovely.
to to be able to do that while working from
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Anshul, talking back to when we onboarded you in October, back in October, you were pretty apprehensive about leaving an organization that you've known so well and worked
Mhm.
with so well, and then joining Exact. So, after about 3 months and more, what are your thoughts and feelings?
First of all, the good thing. So the apprehension is gone. It's
Great.
no longer there. I fully
Yeah.
feel part of Exact now, and the challenges our organization has fully I fully understand that and fully feel a part of solving those. But therein lies
Mhm,
the tough part. There is a lot for us to do and improve on
mhm,
as an organization,
mhm,
and that's what keeps me motivated. Sometimes scared, to be honest, but yeah, I mean that's what keeps me motivated. We have a we have big plans for this year,
uh-huh.
uh,
Yeah.
whether it's expanding our client base or integrating our product to create a more full-fledged product for our customers.
Uh-huh.
Those are big ambitious goals, and
Right.
I'm looking forward to being in a situation where we solve those challenges for our customers.
So these are things that excite you. What scares you?
There is too much to do, basically, right?
Okay.
And how would we all get together and solve that challenge?
Mhm,
That's the part where you can never be sure, right? It's a transition phase for the organization in some sense, that we
mhm,
are going to integrate our product as well as we are moving to new versions. How will
mhm,
that be received? We have had initial challenges into it. Now
mhm.
we are working towards solving them. So that's the unknown part, right? But
Right.
then what's the fun if everything is predictable? So there's no fun if everything is predictable, right? So
Absolutely.
I think at the end of the day, we need to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, these are challenges that come when the organization is still growing, right? So,
Mhm.
what got you to leave a very established brand and company and and what allowed you to make a decision to move to a smaller, relatively smaller company?
So I would not even probably put it like I had always wanted it like this, right? So things evolve
Mhm. Right.
as you grow in your career, your thought process changes. If you
Mhm.
had asked me 1 year ago, if you had met me 1 year ago somewhere and you would have asked me whether you will be with Amazon or not 1 year later, I would have said, oh, like definitely yes. And
Yeah.
there were a lot of great challenges uh, which I was working on.
Uh-huh.
Somewhere around mid of last year, I started feeling that I need to take a different role and different challenge for myself. I had
Mhm.
been in the same role. I had grown in my responsibilities, but the
Mhm.
domain had remained same, and the functions which I was managing, I had added few functions, but I wanted to do
Mhm.
something fundamentally different. And that's when
Mhm.
incidentally, Rogendra connected with me. Like he and I know each other from past. He has also worked in Amazon, so he connected with me. He asked me, "What are you thinking?" And
Mhm.
actually, I was thinking to do something different at that time.
Mhm.
Uh, I had still not decided whether I'll leave Amazon. I was also exploring some roles internally,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
but then I felt. There is an additional challenge which I'll face if I get out of my comfort zone
Mhm.
and join Exact. which is how do you make an impact in a startup?
Mhm.
How do you learn working in a startup, right?
Mhm.
One of
Mhm.
my biggest beliefs is that you are never stop learning and never
Mhm.
stop growing.
Mhm.
So I thought, why not? I have worked in an established company, not worked in a startup before, at
Mhm.
least not at the scale which I'm working right now. My very first company was also kind of a startup. I was 600th employee there, and I had
Okay.
seen it grow to 2,500 by the time I left
Wow.
2.5 years
Mhm.
later.
Mhm.
But then there I worked. That was the first job of my career, right?
Mhm.
So you are only thinking about your product, or rather, you're only thinking about your own work. You're not thinking
Mhm.
overall for the company and the beginning of your career. So I
Mhm.
thought that this challenge to make an impact widely at a
Mhm.
company level will be probably something new, and I will learn. I would I would probably experience a new way of doing work
Mhm.
if I went out of Amazon. And I thought if I have to take if I have to do this in my career, this is the right time to do it
Mhm.
versus doing it 5 6 years later. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, so 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 that's how it happened.
That's how it happened. Awesome, awesome. So you are one of you're one of the people that people exactians really look up to. The people believe that you have achieved a lot at a young age. You did your engineering from IIT Delhi and your management from IIM Lucknow. So those are very, very prestigious institutes. And so what would you say helped you achieve these goals in life? Was it always something that you worked towards, you wanted to do? How did that happen?
So first of all, I'm humbled when you say that. I think, uh, uh, yeah, I'm humbled basically, right? Uh, I if I don't think I ever uh, knew that all this would happen. So you're referring to the education. Uh, at every point of time when I was looking for what to do next,
Mhm.
I wanted to aim for the maximum I could achieve in that domain, basically.
Mhm.
So when I was deciding to do engineering, I thought that okay, I'll prepare for IIT uh, and let's see where I land,
Mhm.
and then stayed fully committed to the goal which I had set up for me, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, uh, Eventually, it turned out well. Sometimes it does not turn out well. That does not mean that anyone who let's say who wants to get into a prestigious college and does not get there, that doesn't mean that they will not be successful in their career, right? In fact,
Mhm.
there are studies which tell that your your uh, your education is there is a correlation, but this is not the strongest predictor for success.
Right.
The core strengths which you bring to the table, those are much stronger predictors of success. So I think in
Mhm.
my mind, two things which have helped me is staying committed to what I'm doing, like fully
Mhm.
committed to it,
Mhm.
and then getting myself out of my comfort zone, challenging myself to get better. So there was
Mhm.
one situation where when I was uh, preparing for MBA, and
Mhm.
there are a lot of peers around who would, and this is while I was working in my first job.
Mhm.
There are a lot of people who would actually devote a lot of time to preparation and not
Mhm.
to what they were doing in their job.
Mhm.
And I fundamentally disagreed with that way of
Mhm.
working. I felt that if I'm working in an organization, my first priority still needs to be organization where I'm
Mhm.
working,
Mhm.
and then stretch myself to also prepare
Mhm.
for entrance MBA, the CAT exam, basically, right?
Mhm.
And I think that played out well. In fact, even when I was interviewing for CAT, there was a good lengthy discussion about what I did in my
Mhm.
previous role, And if I
Mm-hmm.
had not done a lot in my previous role, I would not probably have a good answer to that, right? So
Correct.
at the end of the day, it all turns out well. You
Mm-hmm.
need to stay committed to what you're doing. And basically, we need to get our priorities right. We can't say, hey, we'll aim for something else, but not
Mm-hmm.
for where we are.
Mm-hmm.
That is one mistake which people make sometimes. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that I can't recall if I have fallen to that, but I have been tempted to fall to that. Like I have seen people um, taking off to prepare for something else.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that works. It's kind of either you are in it or you're not in it, right? You need to fully commit to what you're doing at every stage, and I think that's probably has been the key to whatever little I have achieved.
Sure, sure. So you talked about having core strengths and playing on your core strengths. So we have a question related to that from people we reached out to. So they're asking, you're so organized at work. Do you also carry some of this organization at home?
uh, yes, I do. And sometimes I and my wife have disagreements because of that. But yes, sometimes I do. Like we typically try to keep a schedule around the day. It's especially important while we are working from home.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that what time do we get free? What time should we have tea together, or what time we should have lunch together? So yeah, we try to keep that.
Wow. Okay. Okay. The question elaborates a bit more. It says, do you have an Excel file for your vacation planning? Is it how can it get that detailed?
Yes, it has
It
actually
does. Okay.
gotten that
Okay.
detailed
Yeah.
two times.
Uh-huh.
It also depends on how big the travel is. So if it's a 2 day travel, you don't need that. It's as simple as that, right?
Mhm.
But recently, in last 2 years, we have traveled. We have planned a 11, 10 to 11 day travel, and
Mhm.
there these were so one of them was New Zealand, and we had
Mhm.
when you're going there, you better know where all you're going and plan it out. So we
Right.
did plan it out in an Excel. That day one we'll do this, day two we'll do this. This is our travel time from this location to this location. Yes, we did that.
Uh-huh.
uh, uh, it was probably time consuming in the beginning, but at least it made for a good travel later. We knew what we are doing next.
Uh-huh.
By the way, that said, I also like changing it a bit, right? So I have there has been one travel to Andaman and Nicobar Islands where we did not plan anything. Um,
Okay.
and we just took it as it comes. So I've
Uh-huh.
done that too.
Uh-huh.
So I like changing it a bit sometimes, but yeah,
Were you
in general,
comfortable with
I
that?
would probably
Sorry. Were you
reasonably
comfortable?
comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Awesome.
but I'm kind of cheating when I'm saying that. So this
Uh-huh.
this trip was planned by someone else, not by me.
Uh-huh.
So it's not that it was
Okay.
completely unplanned, but I left it to uh, my travel partner basically at that time. We were a group of friends who were traveling. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So you trusted your travel partner to have an Excel sheet and then have it all planned for you. So you didn't have to do it.
Whichever way they planned, whether they
Yeah.
have Excel or in their mind,
Yeah.
it's
It
totally up to
happened.
them.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you
yeah,
get
yeah.
to travel? We had a Christmas break. Did you get to go out and see things, or are you still pretty much keeping at home?
No, we are trying to stay safe.
Uh-huh.
Haven't
Hmm.
traveled for last 1 year. My last travel, incidentally, was to US, and it was around this time. It's
Hmm.
21st Jan
Hmm.
today, and I think we had traveled on 23rd Jan. So just
Wow.
it's
In a
almost
year.
a year now that we have not
Yeah.
traveled.
Yeah. So while you're at home, did you get to indulge in the various hobbies you have? We understand you really enjoy photography, but have your hobbies evolved? Have your interests evolved while you're at home?
So, yes, I like photography, and unfortunately, I have not been able to do it at all
Correct.
for
Yeah.
last 1 year.
Hmm.
But what I did was it gave me time to.
Hmm.
There are the two aspects of photography. One is you take a photograph, and second, uh, there are some people who hate post processing the photos. I'm
Yeah.
kind of ambivalent to that. I want to take a nice photo at a nice angle with nice lighting, but sometimes it does not come out the way you want it to be. And you can improve it
Mm-hmm.
by the post processing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have had little time to do that for some of my past travels. So I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And other hobby where I ended up spending more time, where I was struggling, was read. And
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, I am a slow reader, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a voracious reader. Like I have friends who read like 50 books in a year, or some of them read 60, 70 books in a year. I'm nowhere
Yeah.
close to that. I,
Uh-huh.
I, I I'm jealous of them, how fast they read.
Yeah.
But this is something which I could pick up last year, and I took our time for that. Uh, we also, along with my wife, we also indulge a lot in uh, trying out different recipes at home itself. So
Okay.
that's the other thing where
Uh-huh.
we have spent some time outside
Uh-huh.
of work.
Awesome. So, what type of books do you like to read when you do read?
A variety of those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think nowadays I like reading biographies,
Right.
also management books, like which are linked to not the management books which teaches you hard principles of management, but more on softer aspects like
Mm-hmm.
Power of
Mm-hmm.
Habit, Decisive.
Mm-hmm.
These are pretty good books. I read them recently.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the current one which I'm reading is actually I'm listening to it. So I also listen to audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
This is A Promised Land by Barack Obama. That's what I'm listening to right now.
Right.
It was incidentally based on Arti's recommendation. I asked her, like, did you like it? And she said yes, and said, okay, okay, I'll also give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'm listening to. In past, I've also read fiction, and I do like reading fiction as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Both actually, two of my most favorite books are fiction books.
Mm-hmm.
They are not management books. One is a philosophical fiction, Atlas
Mm-hmm.
Shrugged by Ayn
Mm-hmm.
Rand,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a fan of Harry Potter series, which is fantasy
Oh,
fiction.
okay.
So
Nice.
those are my those are probably still my more favorite books compared to what I'm reading currently. But yeah, so yeah, a variety is what I read.
A variety, sure. And the biographies you read, are they of people? Do you generally tend to choose people you admire?
Uh, Yes. So if there are people I admire, I definitely go and buy their book
Mm-hmm.
the first day. So happened with Sachin Tendulkar's biography when it came up, Steve Jobs' biography when it came up.
Mm-hmm.
I picked them up the very first day, so I was eagerly looking forward to them.
Mm-hmm.
I also rely on recommendations.
Uh-huh.
Uh, like there's a book named Shoe Dog. This
Uh-huh.
is biography of founder of Nike.
Uh-huh.
So this was highly recommended. So I read it. Then there's a book called Open, Andre Agassi's biography.
Yeah.
I read that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you have role models? You have people you look up to, but is there anyone that you think of as your role model?
Uh, I don't think there's a single person where when
Mm-hmm.
I think like that. But I try to learn different aspects of life, or different
Mm-hmm.
aspects of leadership from different people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I took two names earlier, Steve Jobs and Sachin Tendulkar.
Correct.
I've probably put one more person there. This might be slightly unusual. Justin Henin.
Okay.
She was a tennis player.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so what I liked in their lives was specifically I'll talk about Justin Henin.
Mm-hmm.
She was the number one player,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was a time when she fell ill.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very unique illness. It was some type of a blood virus. So
Mm-hmm.
it spreads across your body. And
Mm-hmm.
at one point of time, that she was so weak that she couldn't even get up to brush her teeth.
Oh.
And she had to come back from that. So being a
Mm-hmm.
number one, going to a
Mhm.
stage where you might
Mhm.
start feeling, "Hey, I can't even get up every day. How would I get
Yeah.
back to where I was?"
Right.
It's a scary feeling,
Uh-huh.
and the way she actually came through that.
Yeah.
What she did, it was her mental resolve to
Mhm.
get out of that situation. She started practicing when she could. She returned back, and she again became number one in tennis. So that was a very nice thing. And if you if you, another interesting thing is, uh,
Mhm.
she was technically very sound,
Mhm.
but then
Mhm.
even women's tennis has evolved in a power game in after
Mhm.
2000. So you have Williams sisters,
Mhm.
and Justin Hill was just like 5'5" or 5'7" probably,
Mhm.
and she's tiny. If you would have seen her, she couldn't match their power. So
Right.
she had to actually do a lot,
Yeah.
train her to actually
Uh-huh.
match their game.
Yeah.
So the inspiration which I took from this is you would have ups and downs in your life.
Uh-huh.
Even if you are super duper successful, you are number one player in the world. Uh, all that can be short lived. So
Yeah.
it's your determination which will get you back there.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it's not just business leaders where you can draw inspiration from, but
Mhm.
different life inspirations from people in whatever field of life.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, this is the one which has really stood out with me. Sachin Tendulkar, Steve Jobs. I think people know a lot about them, so I'll not talk a lot.
Mhm.
But the thing which I admire the most about Steve Jobs is his vision of giving customers what they did not know they
Mhm.
wanted.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
iPhone came, consumers did not know that this is what they wanted.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think same with iPad.
Yeah.
So those, after reading his biography, I know that he had a major role to play in those. So that's great, and I think
Yeah.
the companies, that's how big companies evolve. You have to
Mhm.
understand what customers want. They might not necessarily tell you that what they want.
Correct. Yeah.
There's a famous thing on this one. When
Uh-huh.
uh, when when Henry Ford invented the car, he said, if I had asked people what they need, they would have told me that we need a faster horse, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, consumers don't always know what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do these people in, that you look up to, how do they influence your leadership style?
Um, so it's learning from there, right? Like for example, I took the example of Justin Hennon. What I learned from there is that you would be faced with a situation where you'll feel everything is gone and we are likely to fail now,
Mhm.
right? Uh, but what you can do in those situations is not give up and figure out a way
Mhm.
of stay determined, stay on your course, seek help. Many times you don't need to solve the problems alone.
Mhm.
You can go to your team. So I'm
Mhm.
fortunate enough to have a large team here. I can always go to my direct reports and ask them
Mhm.
that, hey, this is the problem which you're facing. How would you solve that?
Mhm.
Or ask your leaders, ask your peers, how do you get out of those situations? Create a plan around it and get out of it. I think another saying which sticks with me sometimes, it's Sachin Tendulkar who said that whenever you are in pressure,
Mhm.
you always have more time than you think you have.
Right.
So sometimes we take rash decisions when we are in
Mhm.
pressure, but I
Right.
always remind myself of that saying, and I can say, okay, I don't need to solve it in next 2 hours. Maybe
Right.
we can take 6 hours or one day to solve this problem. Let's say there is a customer escalation coming, or yeah. So that's how I try to implement those in my day-to-day work.
Right. Right. That's interesting. So we have mighty goals coming up for 2021 in exact, and you brought up a very interesting perspective that there's always time, more time. What message would you like to leave with exactians given these two, these two situations?
I think my message would be for each of us
Mm-hmm.
to take some time back
Mm-hmm.
and reflect on what all each of us is focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
keep doing that many times. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be very frank here. Right? I created a 90-day plan
Mm-hmm.
when after sometime by around end of November.
Mm-hmm.
I am only 30-40% sticking to it, right?
Okay.
Uh, and the reason all this is happening because there are other things which you need to focus on because of change in
Uh-huh.
strategy
Uh-huh.
in priority. So it's not that I'll not be doing those things, but I can always
Uh-huh.
do them later.
Right.
So the fallacy I could have fallen into is keep doing what I had planned and also take up more,
Mm-hmm.
which had come my way as things evolved in last two
Mm-hmm.
months.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and what you end up doing in those situations is see at the end of the day we have our mental capacities and
Yeah.
we have a limited time.
Mm-hmm.
If we spread that thin across a large number of things, we will do an average quality work in all of those things.
Right.
But if we can figure out, hey, I started doing five things,
Mm-hmm.
and that was 1 month ago. But when I reflect back, I have only completed two out of those five things. But there are
Mm-hmm.
eight more things I need to do now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we take that time to reflect back and keep reprioritizing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to come back and say, hey, we started with this. This is the current situation. So whatever has happened in the past, that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
If I use a management term, it's sunk cost. So whatever has happened in
Uh-huh.
past is past. We
Uh-huh.
need to analyze the situation today. What
Uh-huh.
all, let's say, I as a person, I need to focus on for next 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
List it down for yourself, and then prioritize it. Figure out
Mm-hmm.
if you have to do a great job at each of those things. How many
Mm-hmm.
will you be able to do? If there are eight of them, and you believe you can actually do an excellent job in three of them, and you want to drop five of them, and you'll obviously pick the three highest priority today. Uh, First of all, evaluate it yourself, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
first step, and then talk about this to your manager and
Mm-hmm.
leaders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'll listen. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the key for each of us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we look up to our managers or leaders to do that,
Right.
but I think they can only tell as much, right? They
Right.
cannot uh, know every single thing you had planned for yourself. So the key
Right.
is you take out time to reflect,
Mm-hmm.
prioritize, and have a
Mm-hmm.
discussion around what should we be doing in short term, and then what can be deprioritized to later time. That would help us cut down on the chaos which you keep feeling.
Right. No, that's a very, very sound recommendation. And thank you for that. Also, thank you for making time to chat with us. It was very interesting to get to know you better. And, 2021 is big for Exact. So, yeah, we look forward to achieving great goals together. Thank you, Anshul.
Thank, thank you, Rashmi. It was good talking to you, and
Same here.
thanks for having me over here.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.